Hey everyone, Joy Brooks with Email and Coffee. I had this dream the other day. Fortunately, it wasn't a nightmare. And I was dreaming about the answer to people who always ask me, so what's the best ESP, right? And when I say but there is no such thing, that's not the answer that people like. And in many cases, for small businesses or professionals, and I'm not talking about these large companies that have lots of money to throw at the wall. I'm talking about people, small businesses or professionals who need email marketing for their business, but really don't know what they're getting involved in. They may go to an agency. They may just go out and pick an ESP out of the blue. They really don't know what they're getting into. It's a partnership. So I thought of putting a series together where I would ask the experts about what they think about ESPs they've used, maybe an ESP they're using, best cases, maybe even worst cases, because there are some businesses that have no business in a particular ESP, possibly for a number of reasons. So today I'm speaking with Yanna-Torry, who has lots of deliverability experience, but today she's going to specifically be talking about an ESP and not deliverability tools. So, Yana, tell me a little bit about what's going on with you and what's your choice ESP of the day, du jour.
So recently I've been focusing just on reviewing my emails. Apparently, cleaning everybody's list is my jam. So I'm going to be doing that for the near future and for the long term as well. But in terms of ESP, my favorite one at the moment and for the last couple of years has been Brevo. Um, my favorite thing about them is their old school pricing plan, which is based on volume instead of number of contacts saved in your ESP, which already is quite a big game changer because we all know how quick the price tag goes up once your business grows and you want to keep your contacts, but you don't want to delete them, but you also don't want to email them. And if you're paying, shouldn't you be emailing them? And then you go around in circles.
That was one of the problems that I had, and I could say this, you don't need to, with SendGrid, was that we had a very large list, and we were segmenting, and we were paying for the list.
Yeah. I mean, as you should, right? Segment them. Being penalized for doing it well is not really smart or intelligent pricing. I mean, I understand on the ESP side, they need to make money. It costs money to store all these things and all the logs related to each email contact. But for a business that's growing and wants to do things correctly, but not lose any of the information they have about their customers, what do? Do you just export everything and keep it unsafe on a Google Drive folder? I, you know,
Yeah, that's the reason you have an ESP. It's like, why am I paying you so that I could pull everything off and store it locally? That wouldn't be, then I would be hosting all the data.
yeah.
Which, that's yet another thing, hosting your own data.
Yeah, I mean, it has its place in the market. There's reasons why you're doing it, but people are definitely not aware about what compliance is and how that works and why you shouldn't do it, and updating your privacy policies and your terms and conditions and why you should be doing it. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe downloading which you should every so often have your list somewhere stored in case
Yes.
the world ends and your account gets blocked or something like that. But at the end of the day, you should not be downloading things all the time. It's not safe and it's not very compliant in most countries.
Yeah, that, I mean, it can be problematic.
Mhm.
If your data gets breached and if it's found that you've got local stores and you hadn't necessarily told your customer.
Yeah.
In many cases, although the ESP is not necessarily liable specifically unless the breach happens with the ESP, in which case it is liable. But in many cases, the fault lies with the marketing department, the sales department, the outsourced resources that are doing it, which in my experience has always been why when as a contractor my clients would send me an email, it would be heavily encrypted, and I don't think they let me keep it.
Yeah, no.
When you encrypt, can you destroy it afterwards, or can you
Well, the encryption would usually be like on, as it's being sent. But if you, for example, had downloaded it from the email to your computer, then you're the owner of it. So then it would be on you to go and delete that file, right? And how would they know? Or, if you download it on your computer and then put it in Drive, now you have two copies of it, and then you shared it with people, and then you have no idea who might have downloaded it on their end. So it becomes quite problematic if there is some breach and then you have to go prove what's happening, where it's gone, and then who are you going to blame? You blame the sender, like the company itself who shared the data and who gave permission to the consultants or their team to be able to use it and store it all over their place, or not educate them on what to do with it. I mean, even ESPs and any CRM style company has these legal issues and all these things that they need to think about, and they're not even that perfect. They can't possibly be that perfect because right now we just come up with like two reasons why it's not a good idea to store this data in an email or a computer or your Google Drive doc. So imagine the grand scale of things, all these things people can do with lists. Yeah.
The VPN is another solution for that, so that even though you're working from home, they
Yeah.
force you to log into the VPN.
Yeah.
Whereby it's not on your machine anymore.
Exactly.
And they don't
You log
allow
into
you to
theirs,
use the local.
and that's
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all theirs. So anything that's going on is on their machines. And
Yeah. But how many people do we know that does this?
I work for a
I
company
mean,
that did that.
oh,
It was
nice. No.
such a painful
I
process.
know.
Everything was a pain because every application ran through the VPN, every storage was in the VPN. It was very painful.
Oh, well, no, people just send me lists by email, sometimes like through WhatsApp or a Google Drive doc. And then I'll get rid of my stuff, remove the permissions, delete things, but then what they do with a Google Doc, not on me anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm wondering, you've I've got my list of questions, so I'm sort of going to go through. Um, did you choose Brevo, or did a company choose it? And like, what was the decision, and like, how long did it take, and like, what was that process? Because there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, so on mine, because I'm on the deliverability side, I never really cared about the email marketing side of things. I mean, my career started at CakeMail, which is, number one in my head, of course, because it's where I worked for so many years. But because I have to go fix their deliverability, I got to use millions of tools. And the one that kept popping up and that I liked working with was Brevo. They had a really good segmentation feature that wasn't hidden behind a higher paywall. You didn't have to pay to have access to more segmentation rules and so on. Their lists were intelligent in speaking in the manner of, how people love to have different lists for every webinar or their main list or their form. But then we had a list that would combine everybody together. So whenever I needed to see a unique version of everyone, I could go to that list and had everybody together. So then when I would do segmentation, yes, they were coming from different lists or different groups and so on. I could still see everybody in the same place, which is something that I know some ESPs have and some don't. But this was just out of the box already there. Then you can have an unimaginable amount of columns. So like, how you have first name, last name, you can have so many of them. So I was able to upload things to tag and then use a segment and like, if X in this column, do this, and which was really, really cool for somebody who's constantly cleaning lists and trying to figure out why there's a deliverability issue when it's coming from the recipients complaining and not wanting emails, but they gave their email. That was really simple. They all their features, they do have like these plans where you have access to a couple more features, but none of those features were important to make email marketing work. If you didn't want to pay for the feature, there was always more or less very easy quick workarounds to make more or less the same feature, which is the most interesting thing. So for a business who was growing, had a big CRM but might not be sending a lot of emails because they had a really good email strategy and they were very targeted, everything could just be done in the same place. And then they have all these other cool features that are not unrelated, but for a small, medium-sized business, even one sending millions of emails, if you have a pipeline feature within your CRM and within your email marketing provider, this is really cool. You didn't have to have, a HubSpot and then email marketing separate from, selling. Everything was just in the same place. And then everything else was the same, because between me and you, email marketing service providers need to stop marketing their products, because all they're doing is, we've got nice template designers, we've got a CRM, we've got forms, we've got landing pages, we got, and people just like, wow, this is amazing. Ask any customers, do you use all these features? No. If they use forms, the people who use forms use too many forms. And if you go back and like, where is this form on your website? They don't know. What was this form used? I don't remember. So unless they named a webinar, and then again, do you remember what webinar you did last March 17th? Nobody does. So you have to go check. You have the drag and drop templates, which I don't know why we're still selling that. Like most companies have that. And between me and you, a WYSIWYG editor, if you know how to, you know how email works, you can use a WYSIWYG editor correctly. It just don't make an Excel table on WYSIWYG. Like if you know how email works, you'll make a nice email using a WYSIWYG editor. I know it's not fun and it looks old school and clunky, but it works. So people are selling drag and drop editors, and it's like, wow, congratulations, something that's been around for like a decade. And like, we can authenticate our domains, which is something we should have all been doing for years. We can create forms. Sure. Do you need your ESP for that? Yes, no. I know a lot of customers that they have their Wix forms, and then they got the form on Calendly, and they got the form for the webinar tool, and they got the form on their ESP, and the ESP that they used to use, and the form that they can't remove from their website because they don't have the budget to do it. And none of this is in a conversation with, we need to buy a new email marketing tool. I need better pricing. I need to be simple. But that means the company needs to do a cleanup. How many do we know they're going to do that? So we just keep adding tools. And the marketing is always these bells and whistles that, I mean, they're cool. We want to be able to see our subject lines and test it. Sure. But is that really the sexiest thing we could be selling about email marketing? And then half of them are lying about deliverability because they know people don't know the difference between delivery and deliverability. So we've got the best deliverability, 98%, 99%, which is the amount of emails they send minus the bounces overall. And some people are onto it. But, you know, all these deliverability dashboards are just email metrics on a per provider level, which is still not deliverability. It's just your opens for Google and your opens for Microsoft. And God forbid anybody knows what to do with that.
Is Brevo a CRM?
Yes, it is also a CRM. They've got all these tools, and then they added as well recently, or at least I've noticed recently, and by recently I mean the last couple of years, that they have like add-ons like SMS. So you can really, if you want to grow within the platform, you can. But if you're very small, or by small I mean you're a 1-2 person team in a multi-million-dollar business that needs to send emails, so you're small, there's a limited amount of things you can do, you still have all the features you need to succeed. You've got your automations, which are not an add-on. You've got your forms, which are not an add-on. You can use your own headers and footers and emails. You can do all the things you should be doing. It's clean, it's sharp, customer support is there, which is a thing that's amazing. I mean, they're really big and they're not as nice as we are, because I mean, we got nothing better to do than answer people at 2 o'clock in the morning, but they're online 24/7 a day, which is really cool. And a lot of their team members are going to be
Right questions. Kind of, if you can have the problem that a lot of people say with chat, when they chat support, oh, you know, they're really bad. If you cannot communicate your problem, they can't give you the answer.
Exactly.
So if you don't know what's happening, if you can't go and say, I'm having specifically a deliverability problem as opposed to I'm having a delivery problem, if you don't know the difference, they may not be able to help you. And you'll go around and around and around and around because they are different. You know, if you say, unfortunately, depending on the ESP, if you don't use their proprietary terms, and if you insist on calling it a list, and it's called in Salesforce marketing a data extension, they're going to go, what list are you talking about? They're going to act dumb.
Yeah. No, I haven't had that issue with Brevo. I mean, I don't have the contact support for anything, but when I've seen the customer support, like I need help with uploading a list or things like that, I've seen not only have they been answering really quickly, but I've seen their humans behind the scenes actually go perform the changes. Who would believe that? that there's people in support that can go and support the customer instead of just going back and forth 50 million times with the person who's having an issue with the CSV file. And they're like, send me the CSV file. Don't do it. It's not very good. And they're very safe. Okay. So don't have to worry about it. But they'll ask you, okay, I'll upload, like, oh, you got the wrong CSV type, or the header is wrong. They were helping the customer. And I was like, oh, wow, thank you, because or else guess who would have to do it? It would be me. So I was really happy that they were able to help and give actual advice. So maybe I've just been very lucky with all these customers I've been using Brevo, but their support team is really on it. And to me, it just seems like less of a waste of time. You can have 25 support tickets open, and then your support ticket has been open for 24 hours, and you should be able to answer in like 30 minutes or less. So they like, you know what, let me just do it. I know how to do it in 5 seconds because I use Brevo and I'm part of the Brevo team. And they just did it, which is really cool. They help authenticate really easily. Like if you don't know what you're doing and you don't want to call me to do it, most of the DNS providers are like automatically connected. So you can just like connect to GoDaddy, and Brevo will do it for you, which is really nice. Not them. Again, they're not the only ones who are doing it. It's not like the most, the newest feature in email, but it works, and it does it, and it just removes something that people have to do once and never have to think about again.
Right.
But why not?
Is there like something that you discovered in this ESP that you didn't know existed, and now it's like, whoa?
Okay. So it's not that I didn't know it existed in itself, but I didn't know that Brevo had it. So a friend of mine in the email world, Jonathan Loriot from Bad Sender, has this project that he started a couple of years ago called for the email expiration date. So the idea is we all send emails, and most of their emails are irrelevant after X amount of time, promotions or just information. And that email expiration will let the inbox that I'm using know, or the subscribers using know, that after a while, like, just delete the email. There's no point in this customer having this email in their inbox forever on page 200. And I thought that was really interesting because in Brevo, one of the features, or the settings for every email, is the email expiration date. I think I found out recently that it's not. It's based on the same project, but Brevo has their own. But the idea is really cool because we all think our emails are the most important thing on the planet, but we don't. I don't think we need to be storing them in 3 underground bunkers from Google and Microsoft and everybody's side. Like, it costs enough money to just send the email out. Let's not, add some storage to it for all of eternity. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it's just a setting. You just like check the box, and after 90 days or whatever days you decide, the email will be delete itself. Yeah, on the inbox service side, in the subscriber's inbox. So now it depends. Of course, the inbox needs to be able to accept this, and not all of them do. So if you guys have the money, or you want to donate, go donate to the email expiration date project on the Bad Sender website, because this is, I think, it's really cool, and it's necessary. I mean, why we're all annoyed we have to delete and unsubscribe from emails. Why not make it easier and delete them ourselves for the subscriber?
French. Did you say something in French?
Oh, his name, I'm gonna say it. Jonathan Loriot. Doesn't work in English. Jonathan Loriot from Bad Sender. So you guys can go there. Um, yeah, really cool guy, really smart guy. Like, looking for strategists, deliverability. You got it. He's your man.
What would you say that there's a particular type of company or size of company that fits best?
I think I wouldn't be able to come up with a type who wouldn't be able to use them. The big boys out there always want their own dashboards, etc. And they have the API that would provide the data for these companies to create those either connections with other tools, to create flows that are more coherent, and the databases, or to sort themselves, or just pull it to have nice dashboards. In terms of features, you got everything you need. You got the A/B testing, you got the campaigns, you got the automations, you got the tagging, the segmentation, preference centers, unsubscribe pages. You got it all. There's nothing that's necessary for email that they don't have. But the best customers would be the people who are tired of paying for contacts that they want to keep in their CRM, but they don't want to pay for. Those would be the best ones. The people who are looking to clean everything up, so they're looking to mush everything in one place, because they've got the pipelines and the sales stuff that HubSpot, like Pipedrive, Pipeline, all those tools have in one place. They've got the texting as well. I'm pretty sure their support team would help you migrate everything over. They've got really good pricing, really, really good pricing when it comes to, contacts versus emails sent out. And they've got all the auto scheduling and a send at the best time for everybody as well. So I'm trying to think of what I'm missing here. Like, I think I've just given all the features somebody can possibly have here. But if you're looking to move, if you're not a consistent sender, they're really good. You pay for volume if you want. You can pay just for the credits, and then when you run out, you buy some more. The people who are looking for some extra cool features like A/B testing, and if you don't have a big list of like 25,000 and over, why are you A/B testing? There's nothing to A/B test if you have 10,000 customers. There was a lot of studies being done about this. Go find out online. Ask Gemini to do deep research, but you need like 20 to 25,000 contacts minimum that are receiving emails to do an A/B testing. So don't go paying for things you don't need. They have they've got like Google Analytics tracking that you can add really simply, so that you can just also compare your email marketing statistics to the your Google Analytics. So you can compare, are your clicks, what happens after you click, and how many of those are real, which you should be doing anyways, regardless of the ESP you're using. So I haven't come up with a customer that I wouldn't send to Brevo so far. I might find somebody at some point. But if you're big and you use the API, they've got their API and everything's available by API, so that's not a problem. They've got multi-account as well, so you can like manage a lot of accounts if you need to do that. You're not limited in terms of senders or any of those things, which allows people to really do a cleanup. They can really take their MailChimp, SendGrid, HubSpot, Calendly, and like mush it all together in one place, slowly, without paying, like, how you're going to migrate from one tool to SendGrid, and then the first thing you're going to migrate is the contact list. That's the easiest thing to migrate. So then bam, you've got a big bill, but you're not ready to send to everybody. Whereas with Brevo, you can move everybody, and then you can start doing, okay, we'll start with our new customers, because we'll add our sign up form for new subscribers, and then the automation runs, and then we can at least send to them. And you can start migrating things very slowly. Downloading and uploading things super easy. I cannot come up with something that I'm annoyed at yet, but I've been using it for customers for a couple of years, and for review my emails, I have decided to use Brevo as well. So far, so good. I've connected everything to my website, to my own tools in the back. So like I've got Zapier triggering certain things just because my app, I want to send notifications, and I do not want to pay my developer to create an integration. So I just use Zapier for free. And I'm doing application stuff and application notifications through Brevo, which usually would require some more API. I just didn't think it was necessary for my business. So far, I've been really happy, especially with the statistics as well.
Yeah, you
You
mentioned
don't,
Zap. My other questions. It's about the tech stack. So,
yeah.
anything in the tech stack, like if you were ripping it down and starting from scratch, is there anything in the tech stack that you'd like to work out better? In other words, you mentioned Zap. Would because in many cases there's two things to do. You get a programmer to create an API that's bringing everything in at
Yeah.
12 o'clock at night every day, or and those are great. But once you start playing around with APIs, now you need to have that programmer there.
Yeah.
Because the APIs are going to fail at some point.
Yeah.
For some reason, because
Yeah.
something changes. So you mentioned Zap. So do you think that Zap is like the Band-Aid, is the perfect Band-Aid?
Okay, so in my situation, I wanted whenever somebody would upload a list and clean it, that whenever it was done, we would send them a notification. So usually the email says, like the application itself online should connect and trigger something. So it should tell Brevo, send this email. And I didn't want to tell my developers to do that because I wanted to take ownership of it myself and see, was it worth it? Because I might be just sending notifications to everybody and they don't care. They're all still on the app and they would have just downloaded it there. So I didn't want to create a part of the email, trigger through developers if I wasn't going to end up using it. So with the Zap, it was more like tag the contact. And whenever the contact was tagged, the automation would trigger an email. And that was it. So so far, personally, I don't have any issues with any of the integrations because I don't need them. Everything is living inside of Brevo. My forms are from Brevo, my campaigns are from Brevo. And other than tagging, which the tag would happen either because of a campaign or something I've done in Brevo, which would then tag and start an automation, the only thing I needed to do was to either add subscribers in the in the tool. So if it wasn't coming from a form, but it was coming from a sign up on the app, then I wanted to send it over, which, I mean, if you know how to use Gemini or like any of these tools, you can create something very easy. But again, if you're using a form or anything like that, the form would do it. So far, I haven't had any issues in doing anything, and their exports are really complete. So I didn't need to also do some integration for dashboards and statistics. The statistics are really good on the app. And if I download everything, everything's there. So far, I haven't needed any integrations. And because the pipeline as well, I've been using them also to sell, and manage my sales and things like that as well. That was it. So I think like the biggest integration, or if I wanted to automate something, would be, and I haven't checked this, so they might be able to do it and I just haven't gotten there yet, is I send my invoices through Stripe if they're manual. So when I get the sale, then I create an invoice and then I send it to them, which I would do manually anyway. So I'm not really sure that'd be an issue or something I need, but I haven't checked. So far I've been very lucky in my personal needs and my customers as well. If anybody needed anything complex, it usually had to do with like dashboards and like statistics over time, because I have some customers that are seeing like 30, 40 campaigns a day to 20 different lists, and they're all individual and they're all asking for these, it's like news outlets and things like that. So they needed a dashboard to be able to like monetize, like to track monetization and if the sales and all that was making money. And it was working really fine. They're using like Freelooker and the API in the middle, and they do have a developer, of course, creating and managing it. So far, I've been very lucky. I haven't had any issues. And you know me, I'm very honest. I'll complain about things that are not necessary. But so far, it's just doing what it needs to do. It's selling email tools, and it does email stuff, and that's it, which is really nice.
When you mention Stripe, that's transactional. I mean, it can.
Yeah.
And here's the question to you: when you've got your partner Stripe,
Mm.
do you turn your email marketing into a transactional service, or do you use the Stripe tools for email that are transactional? Because Stripe is transactional by its very nature. Yes. And sometimes people try to get and this is again the tech stack, they try to get one tool for everything. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I would simply say not necessarily. If you can slim it down so you don't have 50 tools, okay. Yeah. You've got one tool that specializes in this, one tool that specializes in that, and one tool that specializes in, a few tools, 5 tools maybe. I don't see that making your ESP, turning your ESP into Frankenstein, and we won't necessarily name that brand, but turning your ESP into Frankenstein is not necessarily the answer, because now you need a bunch of very special talents that all know one program inside and out and are willing to turn that one program into Frankenstein to make it happen.
Yeah. I don't think people understand. So when it comes to having contacts and emails and all of that, or any data related to contacts, subscribers, clients, and so on, people don't really understand the nuance between what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, how they're allowed to store things, how they're not allowed to store things. Some of my customers have never subscribed, and some of them don't even use the application. They just contact me, they send me the list, I send them an invoice, and that's it. Their personal details will live in Stripe because their personal information, credit cards, address of businesses, people's names, and they never ask to get any email marketing or anything else from me. And I am treating Stripe and what it's doing as like my database for billing. The end. So yes, some people might be on both, but some people are just on one, and other people are just on the other. They just want a marketing thing, and they're waiting for the promotion for the next coupon, and that's it. So I'm very clear cut between what each ESP, or it's not really an ESP Stripe, but I mean they're technically sending emails, jobs is. I know exactly what it is. My team knows. If anybody came to audit my company, it'd be very clear. Here's information that's stored to send out invoices, and I am allowed to send out as many invoices as I want, as long as it's a real invoice and they're paying for them. Whereas on the marketing side, I am allowed to do different things. People don't understand the real difference between transactional and marketing emails. I think that's where it stems, and it stems from really great marketing because the ESPs are making money, but really bad marketing in terms for the consumer who is very confused, like abandoned carts. They are sent in a transactional way, yes, because they're triggered, but they're not considered transactional email in court or anywhere else. But what does your email marketing tool say? If it's a triggered email, it's transactional. And triggered can be adding a tag, it can be signing up, which is, and confirming your email, which is a real transactional email, or an invoice, or policy update, all the legal updates. Emails that you are obligated to send to a customer is a transactional email, more or less. I'm trying to come up with before somebody corrects me in the comments, I'm trying to come up, but in general, an email that I'm supposed to send to somebody legally, whether they're subscribed or not subscribed, because they're my customer, is an email that I can send out without issues, more or less. Like, they paid, they deserve an invoice. They subscribe, they need to get the confirmation email. They ask to reset their password, they get their reset password. They never ask for an abandoned cart. You're not obligated legally to send them an abandoned cart. Hey, come back and give me your money. That is a marketing email. And it's a very gray area. And the gray area is not based on where you, the sender, are, it's based on where the subscriber is. If they were to go purchase something and they didn't purchase it yet, they are not your customer. They never gave you consent. You can maybe legally argue that there was an intent, but then again, okay, they most likely gave you the email to go to step number 2 and calculate shipping. That's not a reason to send them another email. So yes, it's sent in a transactional manner because a day later, 24 hours, we send out an email. Legal, one thing, it's not transactional. It's just sent like a transactional email. So I think that's where people get confused, and they wouldn't create Frankenstein things if it was very clear cut for their business who they're allowed to email, why they're emailing these people, and who are these people, and what are you sending to them. If you can't answer those 4 questions and nobody in the team rolls their eyes or says, ooh, then you're doing fine. But if somebody in the team is like, is this okay? Or if you put just your non-email marketer hat and you're just like a consumer, probably don't do the thing that annoys you.
That's what I'm going to say. Would you like this? One of my pain points is a particular pet store whose name I won't mention. I have a few different email addresses, and the one that I'm getting the emails to at this point from the pet store is not my promotional, and I don't want any promotional emails in that. So
Yeah.
I unsubscribed. Then I went to the store and I bought something, and I started getting emails again.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're using their transactional as you've opted in.
I know. Yeah, that's the reverse of the legal
That's
thing.
wrong.
I know.
Wrong.
I know. Legally, it says, right, if somebody's your customer, you're allowed to market to them for 2 years. Fine. That's like people thinking they found a loophole. But it's okay, Joy, because we all know Google spam filters and Microsoft spam filters are going to, at some point, they're going to get annoyed for you and they're going to do the job of blocking the emails out, right? And that's where I come in. People crying because they're sending emails to their customers who don't want their emails.
Yeah, and that's the point people need to hear, is that you think, oh, this is great because now we're able to email everyone, and we should be because blah blah blah. But you're annoying consumers, and eventually that's going to bite you in the butt.
Yep.
And then you won't be able to email anyone because you're going to
Yep.
have to fix it.
Yeah. And with data being so crappy in general when it comes to email marketing, you're going to over remove just to protect yourself and make sure you can start inboxing. And now Google announced right a couple of weeks ago that the promotions tab is not going to be based only like on when you receive the email. It's going to be based on interest. So your promotions tab is going to be changing soon for everybody. And we already know that the promotions tab is more or less individually catered to all of us. So me and you can be subscribed to the exact same things, but my promotions tab is going to look different than yours. And so will my inbox. There's some emails that are promotional, but I do engage with them or have replied to them in the past. So Google has put them in the inbox for me. Whereas there's other things that they'll put in the promotions tab. But now they're also going to do it based on interest. What do I show interest in? What do I show interest in? What are other people who like the same things as me or work in their inbox the same way, want in their inbox? Where do they want those emails? Up, down, nowhere? And then which now started the discussion, email is dead for like the 20th time in my short career of 11, 12 years. If I hear that one more time, like I think the first time I paid attention was when Slack came out, and then it's like email's dead. And I was like, yeah, okay. You try to get a confirmation email and an invoice through Slack, but it's gonna die again apparently because the inboxes are listening to the consumers. We're getting too many emails. We don't want the emails. I want a clean inbox. I have to have 2, 3 inboxes, and Gmail knows we all have 2, 3 inboxes because one's the old one, one's the old one, and one's the one that we're trying to keep clean and we forgot we used it to sign up because we were lazy, and now it's also unclean a bit. They're trying to stop storing all these emails because for every email they store, they have to store in multiple places. One catches fire, it's got to be stored somewhere else, right? So there's a lot that we don't think about, and the issue comes from the marketing tools say send, look at all these cool things you can do with email, do it. And then we look at our inboxes and we're like, why are our competitors or why are other businesses allowed to send 1 million emails? I never open the emails and they're still landing in the inbox 3 times a day. Why is Temu or Wish doing it? But they don't understand the amount of money that goes into being able to do that. How much it costs to have a team of deliverability specialists, a team of engineers that specialize in just rotating IPs and rotating domains and creating content and catching people. And there's a lot of work. And then they're like, well, why doesn't my one employee who sends 30 million emails a year not able to send 3 emails a day per person? It's not the same. So chill, everybody. Send less emails. Look at yourself, look at your email, say, wow, this is useless, and don't send it. And then you won't need 37 tools. You won't need like a amazing strategy. It's just you sell shoes, you sell mattresses. The life cycle is completely different. Look and inspire yourself from the big boys and the other companies out there, but look at your list. If I come in a company and I say, so who's on your list? I don't know. Where these people come from? I don't know. Was it a form? Did they buy something? If you don't know any of this, of course your strategy is not going to be that great. And you're going to have to do this, send to everyone, and hopefully we catch somebody. Change a little bit, think about it. Because I am 1000% sure the person doing social media is like spending 3 hours choosing the hashtags or whatever you need. I'm not very big, so I don't know. But they're spending a lot of time with the placement and the picture and the whatever. And then an email, we're like, hey, chat, can you write us an email about selling shoes? And you just slap it on an email and send it to everybody. And then we get annoyed that Google is like, you know what? We're going to start showing emails to people who want your emails. And they're like, how dare you do that? Instagram does the same thing. LinkedIn does the same thing. LinkedIn decides for you who's going to see your post. Why wouldn't the inbox do the same? So,
if the point is, if you're not going to be, I'll use, what is that? Who's that? Go get it. You're not going to be mindful. I hate that term, but if you're not going to be mindful about your list, it was only a matter of time before your inbox was, your inbox is going to start taking care of it, because storage space is a real thing.
Yeah.
You where are we putting all this stuff? It seems, it's invisible. It can go, it goes nowhere. No, it needs energy and it needs storage space. So where is that? You go drive, down a block. Do you see a big storage facility for systems processing? No.
Yeah.
Why not? And we're going to start seeing that.
Yeah.
Especially with AI. We're going to start seeing that with AI.
Yeah. Yahoo reduced, right? It was Yahoo, right? Recently who reduced the inbox space. So like everybody started like having mailbox full because they had too many emails in their inbox. They're tired of storing this. And people need to just spend more time on strategy, which used to be important for some reason and is not anymore. We talk about strategy. When we talk about strategy, we usually talk about like automations and flows. But if I ask you why are you doing this automation? Well, because it works. Well, does it? I don't know. Do you know? Well, it brings money. Yeah, but your email marketing, all of it together brings money. Can you tell where the money came from? Well, maybe we should know. I don't know about you, but I like knowing where these emails. I have all these ideas and I don't know as a business owner which one's the best, because if everybody is an email sender, right? Most of the world is email marketing, right? So in my head, technically everybody can be a list validation cleaning a customer. But that's not the reality of things. Not everybody can be your customer. So the same thing with your list. If you have all these people on your list, somebody might have bought something recently. Is it a good idea to send a promotional coupon the day after? They might get annoyed that they bought something at full price. Other businesses, because their price range is smaller, might incite a new purchase. Like Temu, for example, when you're buying things $2, $3, $4, if you get another 60%, another 60%, people are going to go buy again and again. If you just bought a mattress full price and you get a coupon, a generic coupon that goes to the whole list, not your next purchase, the next day, you might get, I could have saved $200, $300, like this. So do you know, have you tested it? Can you tell from your results that it works? Because it opens. Yeah, but that might have been the subject line. There's so many things that we don't know when it comes to email. I don't know. I don't know if the template is the most important thing. Like we have all these people like text only and then design it and blah. I don't care. Does it work for your business? Does it work for your subscribers? If it doesn't, why do you keep copying other businesses? It doesn't make sense to me. Is and then which is so far away from the main thing. And then people are thinking about silly things like which is the best ESP for me? I don't know. Do you know what features you're going to use? Are you actually going to use them? Because there's a lot of ways to make automations and use campaigns to make automations, because some automations, like for example, if you really want to do an abandoned cart, you didn't hear it from me, but you can take once a week all the people who bought it or every couple of days and just send to everybody at the same time a campaign with a coupon to come back and get their purchase. It does not have to be a paid automation, because if you get one sale from your abandoned cart, but the automation is like $50 a month, what's the point? Might as well just ask the person to subscribe and send them campaigns and have a good relationship with him. He'll come back and buy. There's so many workarounds.
Ways to, if you're working strategy with goals, there are a lot of ways to manage things without all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
I talk in the past about using segmentation as an analytic tool, and somebody looked at me and said, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah," because if you segment your list, you can see what people are doing. Like, I want to see all the people that bought in the last 60 days. Here's your list. So this here's your list. Here's the total amount of people. Here's your list. What's the percentage? Now you know it. Now you've got a data point.
Yeah.
You can do your own data.
And it's so eye-opening sometimes to see how eye-opening it is for customers to go. The people who bought might not necessarily be your best email fans, and vice versa. There's some businesses where the people that email are the people who like to open the emails and also like to purchase. And in other cases is the complete opposite. Once they've made a purchase, they do not care about your email marketing for X amount of months. Do you know how many X months? No. Figure it out. Stop sending to them, because then instead of nurturing a relationship, you're ruining it. Now again, another email from.
Or and in some cases, I get some emails in my promotional box. I delete. So every morning I wake up 300, delete. But it's time to buy shoes. Where's my DSW?
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah, no, it's
not
the
buying shoes
Zapier.
all year, but I'm
Yeah,
buying shoes, and I buy shoes probably 2 or 3 times a year.
yeah,
So DSW should not be deleting me from their
no,
list because I haven't bought. But what they could do again, and this is me thinking like a consumer, not thinking like a marketer. What they could do is, let's take a list of people who don't open all the time and put them on a different list. Maybe send them less frequently. But if they took me off the list completely, out of sight, out of mind, and I might end up going over to Skechers.
exactly. Yeah, no one said remove everybody, but just be strategic. I think Keith Kuzmanoff is like really like he constantly, not constantly, he's talking about how people should have better unsubscribe pages and better preference pages, because sometimes the preference can be I want women's clothing or men's clothing, and sometimes the preference should be I want less emails, which is super, super simple. I mean, you might not have everybody answer this question on their sign up form or, when they're updating. Sure. But the people who said, I want less emails are a really good segment of people. They're like, I want your email. I just don't want to get annoyed. Don't forget about me. Send me good stuff. And guess who was going to bring a lot of the money? People like you who want the emails, but don't necessarily need an email every day, don't need an email every week. They just need to be reminded the company exists.
I
And
want that coupon. I want that seasonal coupon. That's all.
then,
Because I'm going to probably buy 2 or 3 pairs of shoes, and I want the seasonal coupon. So I'll wait, and then I'll get the seasonal coupon, and then I'll buy.
and a lot
And
of people do that, don't they?
a lot of people do that. Here's the other thing, and that, what you just said, that Keith said that I experienced, is that people build these great preference centers with no strategy of how to send to them.
Yeah, no, just
So
data
you've
points.
got the tip points that say women's, men's, blah 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 blah. Don't send me so many emails. What are you sending to them? You have a whole new strategy, a whole new line. When do you send them, and what are you sending? They should not be getting. Oh, we'll send them this every 6th email. No, that's not a strategy.
No. No.
So and I had this. The problem was that they had this pretty complicated. I want to see webinars. I want to see whatever. Different types of promotions. And they never categorized their campaigns.
Oh.
So we didn't know. We were sending it to, okay, let's send the webinar to everyone that went to the last webinar and to this new group. That was the strategy, okay. But what about the people that said they wanted to see webinars? Oh, where are those people? I don't know. They ticked something off. Where are they? Oh, did you store that anywhere? Like, what are you storing it as? Is it a tag? What is it? Oh, I don't know. Oh, that was built so long ago, I don't know. I'm like, that's not good. It's not good. So if you're going to do with tags, fine. Just remember that now when you send, that your segment needs to include the tag for webinars. Or the opposite way around, where you tag them and they don't want to get emails often. So now you tag, it's a negative tag, and exclude people with this tag.
Yeah.
And then, you send a monthly email, you send a weekly email, whatever. You send a seasonal with a coupon. Well, send it to those people. Just make a decision. When you do things, you realize it has implications. What is the whole picture? And unfortunately, got to build it back into your documentation of what I'm doing.
Yeah. You have to think ahead.
and backwards.
Yeah, or else you end up doing, okay, what are we sending this week? And what are we sending this week? And what are we sending this week? Which means you're always late, you're always behind, it's always stressful. That's where the typos come in and the wrong links come in as well. Then this is just like the basic stuff because we're human, let alone a strategy where we're sending emails and then we're making money or getting whatever the hell we want from their list. If we don't know what the goal is, we can't quantify the goal, we can't create a really good email. And if we don't know what we're going to do with that information for the next time we need to send an email, it just gets worse and worse. So all we're doing is going in a room and just like shouting in a megaphone, I sell stuff, who wants it? And hope somebody comes and listens.
And that's the magic. Unfortunately, that's what they call the magic of email. It works by itself. That is the magic. It works by
Yeah.
itself. You don't have to do anything special. It will work. But if you really, if you're mindful about what you're doing, and if you're a good marketer, you could do something really good. And if you're a good marketer but you're not mindful, you'll turn it into Frankenstein, and it will be a monster.
Yeah.
And at some point in time, people will run away from the monster.
Yeah. And then you have an employee that gets a new job, and the new employee comes in and has no idea what's going on.
No.
Which is horrible. It's always a problem. And then you start from the beginning. Yeah, and then you go further back and you get further and further away from knowing who's on your list and what they want and what they should be receiving and what you should be creating and what you should be sending. And then we're all talking about drag and drop editors.
We're gonna say our subject lines. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's important, but like, I'm not gonna have a 3-hour meeting about a subject line if we don't even know what the point of the email is and what the goal is and why we're sending it and what we're gonna get out of the email. And if nobody can answer any of those questions, Google and Microsoft and all these spam filters, trust me, they're gonna block the emails for you. They're not gonna bounce them or anything. The people they don't think it's relevant to, they'll just skip it. And you're like, oh, open rates. Yeah, because spam filter opens. Was it 2017? They did that research where like 30 to 60% normalized of all clicks were fake. It's like 8 years later. Do you think that number is better or worse? Like, we have no idea what's going on at all in email in terms of statistics. I mean, okay, at all. I'm exaggerating, but not really.
The open rate is only so good as to its opposite, which is they're getting bounced. That's when the open rate becomes an issue. It's like, why do you mean they're getting bounced? Where are these going? Or they're never opening. All of Gmail is an opening.
Maybe.
What percent of Gmail is an opening? That's again. Those are the segments that I would build to see things like suddenly I'd be like, what the heck is going on with Gmail?
Yeah, it went really high, really low. I didn't do anything special. What's going on? But again, if you're sending all these millions, like when you're in that middle space of, companies that don't send a newsletter or whatever, a campaign every week, they're starting and they have automations running and they've got new flows and they've got 2, 3 people creating their own, like the girl for webinars and the person for newsletters and the person for informational. And then you have no overview and you have no strategy. People are getting emails from all 3 groups. People are getting none. It's just becomes like that, when you're happy to get a new phone because everything is new and clean and your download folder is empty and your pictures are all organized. And then 2 years down the line, it's whatever. Computer, cell phone, just you need to clean it up. And we never do. We just like drag and drop and we're like folder, desktop 2024. And we just like squish everything and put it there. This is what we're doing with email. And then we're wondering why sometimes email doesn't work for us. Unfortunately, we need to do some clean. I think everybody needs to do some cleanup. We all think everything is important, but I'm pretty sure if somebody were to take an external email marketer to come in and ask questions about the ESP or the strategy, we'd all feel a little bit embarrassed. Like recently, I haven't been sending email marketing campaigns. So this is bad. I'm losing the engagement on my list. It's just I don't have the time, and when I do have the time, I don't feel like it. It's horrible. It's very, very, very bad. No, I don't even know what to say. But I mean, I know what to say, but do people care? I don't know. I wouldn't care, but because I know the information. So, I mean, not like I
Well,
understand that on the business side, you have to send emails, you have to promote yourself in order people remember, in your case, if you're only buying shoes every so often, you need to make sure that they're sending you emails so that you remember to buy shoes from them. I totally get it. But on the email and the consumer side, we don't know anything, and we know they definitely don't want us to be annoying. So if we have no strategy, we have no foresight, or we have no statistics or no anything, we're unable to merge those into something productive for all of us and important. So we need to just smush we need to be sending emails so people remember us and we're better than our competitors, whatever. And then we need to think, okay, well, Yanna-Torry might not want 65 emails from us in a month, and just figure that out. Because at the end of
I
the day,
remember
the marketing tool doesn't matter. That's not
I
going
was
to save you.
I was I'll use the word shame by another email marketer that said, you're in email marketing and you don't have a list. He goes, why doesn't your website have a list? And I'm like, okay, you're right. So I put a form up there, and it's been 6 months. I've got one person signed up. This is the point. You know what?
Not every business
Not
needs it.
not every it's. I was nervous. I was like, if I get 10 people, I need to send an email. I've got one person. I'd like to send them a personal email and say, thank you for signing up to my list. Who the hell are you?
Want to go out for a beer? I'll talk to you about email whenever you want.
I was just like, well, I don't even know why you signed up. So not every business needs it. And
No.
I have always been risk adverse. I've always been the cynic. I've always been the one that has the no before the yes. So I'm just like, why do I need to send email? What am I going to tell people that LinkedIn is not telling them every freaking time they log in? I don't see why I need to tell them anything. And if anything, by the grace of God, I'll just not send you the email, and I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing people go like, I just migrated from X marketing tool to X marketing tool, and now everything's amazing. And I'm like, have you made money though? Oh no. So you're getting different open rates and click rates, and cool. Like, how long is this gonna survive if you need email to make money? And a lot of businesses don't see themselves as an email business or like in the email space. But if you were to shut off email for 2, 3 months, does that affect your bottom line? And if it does affect your bottom line, then maybe you are an email business in some sense of the word. Maybe you should put more effort. You should give your email marketer a raise, a bonus, and 2, 3 assistants to help them take care of everything. Maybe you shouldn't go back and forth about the 2 pixels to the right, 2 pixels to the left. Just send valuable email to people who want them. Let other people go. Let some people write in limbo, some emails, the most valuable things. Have a strategy, like you said. Sending less means sending less, but what are you sending them? Are you sending them your worst or your best campaigns? Is it relevant to what they've done? Maybe spend more time analyzing your statistics. I know it's boring putting everything on an Excel sheet, or trying to analyze the flow and what people are doing and who you're losing, who you're gaining.
Boring. Bullshit. That's the
I mean,
coolest part of
I think it
marketing.
is too, to figure out this form is useless. It's brought you 10,000 subscribers and none of them have paid. And this one has brought you 500 customers and 500 of them have paid. Which one will we continue to market? But as a email marketer, and all my friends and all my email colleagues, I know that they're like up to here with the amount of stupid things they need to do, up to here with the things they're supposed to be doing or they want to be doing, business may or may not be allowing them to do. And we all know their subscribers are just annoyed. They're like, I didn't need this email today. I got it yesterday. What is a 5% coupon on a $2 product? Like, what are we saving here? Why are you lying to me? I was on a webinar. I don't want to go to another webinar. Or I was on a webinar. I would like to be on another webinar. If you don't know how to answer these questions, we're spending time making pretty templates and forms everywhere and landing pages, but we have no idea what we're going to do with them. Because if your landing page is to sell or to give a free PDF with free keto recipes, why are you then selling them physical fitness things? I understand that there might be an overlap and some people might want both, but most people want the free PDF. So unless you can smooth them over into selling the fitness program, most people are, it's going to be very jarring to them. Like, what, one, who is this company? I don't remember. And two, they're just, this is not what I wanted. I wanted you free PDF, unsubscribe, or because I'm lazy, report as spam, or if I'm lazier, not open an email for the next 6 months.
I start thinking like consumers again.
Yeah. We should have always.
Yeah, should have always.
Should
And
have,
it's
could
not
have.
that difficult. It's not that difficult. I
Yeah.
mean, humans.
Yeah. And like we've talked about a lot of things. You don't have to do all the things we talked about. Just look at your business. That I would always say, like you have your CRM or your email marketing software provider, whatever. Look at your list. Look at your segments. Look at your forms. Can you tell what these forms are for, where they are on your website? Are they still in use? Yes or no? Delete the ones, clean up, remove the landing page, so on. Look at your segments. Do you remember what these segments are? Yes, no. Remove the ones you don't need. I mean, you can download it. We keep talking about security, but like you can download it technically and keep them on the side and make sure everybody's in which, or tag people. Just tag them so the segment might not exist, but the tag's still there. And then look at your list. Who's opened an email in the last 6 months? And we've been saying this for years. Who's opened an email? Or 12 months, 3 months, whatever's relevant to your, size of your business cadence.
If you're a heavy um direct to consumer,
Yes.
that's your business. Direct to consumer. Opens are meaningless, clicks are
Yeah.
very meaningful. Clicks and purchases. So
Yeah.
if they're just opening and you're just sending to opening,
What's the
or
point?
if you do analysis and you've got no one clicking, you've got a problem.
Yeah. And it's simple. And like the whole point of email is to get people to, in most cases, unless you're like informational or like an actual newsletter, most cases you're trying to get people to do something else. If you're unable to make them do something else, update something in the flow. Sometimes it's not even your strategy that's wrong in email. Sometimes it's the people you're attracting that's wrong. So therefore your strategy doesn't work. You're attracting the wrong people who never want to buy because you're offering freebies all the time. They're never going to buy the $250 product. Maybe spend less time trying to get a shitload of subscribers and just get less that are willing to purchase your tools or your product or whatever it is. Or people track what they're doing on the website. Figure out if people are purchasing every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, every year. Is it seasonal? Is it not the right time? Just figure it out. And then you can spend less time just doing stuff to do it. Because like how they say on Instagram, if they post 3 times a week, so then everyone's trying to figure out how to fill in the space. You don't have to do that with email. You need to make sure they remember you, of course, but you just need to send valuable content. And trust me, they will. If they have a nice customer experience, they
I'll even
will.
figure that out with social. That will even go away with social.
Oh yeah, it's just a send to send. So the algorithm continues to like use you or like show you, promote you or whatever. I am not a social media person. I go on social media to like laugh at like funny videos and stuff, and that's as far as Instagram is.
That's
No
what I'm
idea
saying.
what my interests are.
That's even going to send because the algorithm is getting smarter.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
will know that you're BSing. It's like,
yeah, no,
and there's too many people on. It's just inundated.
no.
Everything is
Yeah.
Every data point is inundated. So the closing to this conversation is really think about what you're doing. Just don't do it to do it. Don't do a workflow because everyone's doing workflows. Don't hire an automation specialist, like if they're going to do email. Hire an email marketing person to do email. And if you're going to do automations, great. But what is an automation specialist? Obviously, there's somebody that only thinks about doing automations. And maybe your business doesn't need that. I'm not saying you don't need automations. To simplify, I'm saying you need somebody to do marketing to find out what to simplify, not someone who's going to come on board to say, let's automate it all. Wow, we're going to automate everything. When you don't necessarily need that.
No.
Automation, you don't need 3 emails to ask one question. We're going to send a survey. We're going to send it out 5 times. Here we go. This point, that point, the other point, this. It's like, what are you doing?
I know.
The point is the surveys don't work. Not that they don't work, but surveys are difficult.
Yeah.
So if you're not, if you have to send it out 5 times to get an answer, maybe the serve, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. It's contextual to your business, your needs, what you're able to do. But the most important is, and we say, I know it sounds very generic, but send the right content to the right people at the right time and leave everybody else alone. The end. And then you figure out what those questions mean to you, what you need to look at and what you need to think about. But if you go, I think if people start go old school and they start setting the campaigns that are the important promotions or the important information, people are more likely to resonate. I would much rather people send me a message that seemed to have been written for me than a hey from Walmart, do you need another toilet brush? And it's like, I've got one, I'm good, thank you very much. Like, I really, nobody thought to maybe create a better strategy about related products. No, because we're trying to automate everything, which gives us less visibility. So do the things that you have visibility on, make decisions that make sense to your business now and in the future, and just and then ask your bosses, push a little bit if they're the ones, because sometimes that's the problem, right? They're like, just send more. The more we send, the more money we make. And it's no, the more you send, the more chances you had to connect with the right person, which then ended up making you more money until Google and the spam filters say no more. Then what? You had no data to make any decisions, and the emails are being blocked. You have no idea which emails are landing in the inbox or not. Because even with bad reputation, your biggest fans in email are going to keep getting the emails. Like, unless you're like scamming people, if you're not scamming people with bad reputation, some people will still get the email in their inbox. Do you know who? So then you have no idea what to do. So just take a step back before ever, especially now with Google, with the updates in the promotions tab. It's going to be the end of the world. You have no idea who's seeing things, who's not seeing things. And regardless of if you have good reputation or not, it's going to be based on interest. So if you're sending people who are not interested in your brand, you're just sending for no reason. So there's another additional cost that you have no idea how to calculate, that is just a drain on the purse. So emails not landing in the inbox costs money. Emails not landing in the inbox or not landing anywhere important because Google decided is also costing you money. You have no idea how much that costs. So why not just focus on doing the right thing? Yeah.
Well, thank you, Yanna-Torry. It's always a pleasure
Anytime.
talking with you.
It's always a pleasure talking with you too.
And who has to go to the bathroom the most? No, I'm only kidding. And that's Yana.
See ya.
That's a bathroom rant.